Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Psychic Medium Raymond Guzman, and today I'm going to be doing a psychic reading, mediumship reading on Lesandro Jr. Guzman Feliz. This was been requested on my channel for quite some time. I kind of avoided it because there's a lot of stuff that is already out on the media. When I go into these readings, I don't research. I don't have time to do that. I'm very busy doing private readings for other clients, so I'm going to just go off of what I'm getting from his spirit immediately and go into what messages he has for his mom, for those people that loved him and that knew him, his friends, and just people in his family that would know Junior. I'm not going to even state what happened because those of you that, you know, would be tuning into this reading already know what happened. If you're from the Bronx or you're from New York, you would know exactly what happened to this young man who was 15 years old. So the first thing that I want to say is that as I'm tuning into all of this is that there was a sense of panic leading to his, him being chased in those moments. And I do feel like he knew the outcome. That's what I'm getting from his soul. He knew the outcome of what was going to happen was not going to be good. He knew that these people that were after him were not going to stop until they saw him dead. And this was the panic that led him into that bodega to hide, because again, he knew what was coming. There's been a lot of speculation whether he was in a gang. What I'm getting from his soul is that he was approached by gang members from the Trinitario, or I believe that's the gang, and he would have been asked or had some kind of connection where he was asked if he wanted to be a part of them, and I feel like he said no. So I don't feel like Junior was a part of the gang like people were thinking or people speculate. I don't feel that, and I don't see that out of his eyes. You can tell, like with the people that killed him, the guys that murdered him, when you look into their eyes, you can tell that they're very cold-hearted. A lot of just cold-hearted killers. There's no remorse. There's no sense of humanity left really in their soul. It's a very, very dark place in their eyes and their soul. Lesandro had light in his eyes. I don't feel like, he had that, bad energy from his soul. That's not what I'm getting at all. He does have some messages, and I'll be talking in Spanish because some of these messages are for his mom. I know she speaks English as well, but there's a lot of messages that are coming through Spanish. I'm a Spanish speaker myself as well. And he's saying, quiero que mi mamá sea fuerte y mi familia. So he's saying basically he wants them to be strong during all of this. He does make me feel that there was something with a female. So there was something regarding love, a struggle, unrequited. There was a disagreement that he would have had with a young woman. And this is coming in very strongly from his soul, but I don't feel like he would have told his mom all this. He kept things away from it. And the reason for it is, he says, quería proteger a mi familia. He wanted to protect his family from these gang members, from these people. And I feel like in many ways that's why he decided to leave that night. What I'm getting from his soul, leave the mom's house to go out. I mean, really and truly, I don't feel like the mom wanted him to go, but some way or another, he would have found a way to escape and get out of the house. But for me, it's hard to do this reading because I know that the mom, I can feel her pain as I'm doing all of this, and it's not going to go away easily. For herself, she's blaming herself that she let him go when he should have stayed inside the house, that she knew that there was danger in the streets, and she blames herself that he left that night to go, out to supposedly a friend, quote unquote. But it was all a setup, and people are saying, the police said, that it wasn't a setup, but what I get from Junior Soul is that it was a setup completely. It was definitely a setup. All these guys that said, some of them confessed. Um, like I said, they have that look of a cold killer, and I'm getting from Junior Soul that they all knew. They all knew what they were, but they had orders from someone that was higher up in the rank. This was all executed as because gangs don't just kill people uh, unless there is a good reason. And well, let me retract that. There's never a good reason to kill anyone. But what I'm saying is that the gangs don't do killings. They don't execute people unless there's something that has been orders that have been executed or orders that have been given. And that is what, excuse me, what happened here. And it's more than just 15 people. I feel like it's a large network, and everybody was working together. Uh, and they knew that he was coming out. They say that his friend doesn't know or wasn't involved in it. But I feel like there was definitely foul play in all of this. There was, again, people that knew, the gang members, they knew exactly where he was going to be. That was that phone call that he would have made. And again, it wasn't about money. I don't get it was just about money. There was a lot more. There was a lot more that would have led, money doesn't lead to something so vicious and so dark in nature if it was just money, because money can always be repaid. There was something else that wasn't being told here. And I feel like he was warned. He would have been warned a few weeks or even months before by some members of this group to stay away from. What I'm getting is almost like this would have been about a female. Stay away. But he wouldn't listen. He wouldn't listen, and I feel like it got to the point where that night, when he was out, he saw those cars, and he knew that they were coming after him. And intuitively, he knew that he shouldn't have left the mom's house. But like I said, he's saying that he's sorry to his mom, and that he wishes that he could, turn back the hands of time and he could change things the way that they were. He made some poor decisions, but he never expected that it would get out to this proportion and they would do this to him. Like I said, it's a very difficult thing. I also feel like there was fear from the owner of the Botanica. He would have known, like, once he was there, he could have done more. A lot of people blame him, like, why didn't you call the cops, or like, why didn't you do more to protect Lesandro? You didn't go out there when they were dragging him, but I feel like, and there was a lot of panic, a lot of fear, and people are not always going to. There was people watching. That's what I'm getting. People were watching from the neighborhood out the window. There was people that could hear the screams. They could hear the screams. They could hear the commotion, and they were looking and filming, and some of them were just looking. And it's a lot of people are asking, why did why did God allow this to happen? Like, why does God allow murders to happen? Why does God allow or the universe allow young souls to be gone at this time, like to go? As a psychic and a medium, I can tell you that Lesandro's okay. He is okay, and his soul is fine. This physical body is what is destroyed here in the physical world. This is what, even if we are not murdered and we die in a natural way, or however we go, the flesh is always going to decompose. That's always going to turn to ashes, whether you're cremated or your body just decomposes. The flesh is destructible, but the soul is not. The soul lives on, and there is more to this world. It's like I tell people, we can't. A lot of people are skeptical of psychics and mediums, that we really do have that connection to spirit on the other side, and that they are skeptical that spirit does exist beyond, that souls live on. That is not just like you go to sleep, after you die, and you go to sleep in the soul, and that's it. You never, come around. You don't know anything. You don't even know who you were in this life when you were alive. That's not the case. We are made eternal. Our souls are eternal. So, like I tell people, you can't always see air unless it's like, um, a certain gas that you can see it visible, but you can't see the air that you breathe, but you know and you believe that you're breathing that air. That's the same thing with spirit. We can't see spirit all the time. Not everyone can see spirit. But you can sometimes feel that it's there, or you have faith that there is air. So that's the same thing with spirit. We can't see them always. Even if we're psychics and mediums, they don't always appear, only if they allow us to see them. But they're there always with us. And that's the thing here with Lesandro Jr. is that he's telling his mom, perdóname, and he's saying forgive me, and he's saying that he doesn't want her to feel guilty because I know that she feels guilty. That's what he keeps saying. Um, I don't know if she had the an image of the Virgen de Guadalupe or the Virgin Mary, but I feel like she's very spiritual, and I keep seeing the Virgen. So I don't know if someone gifted her like a picture or like a T-shirt of Lesandro with the image of the Virgin Mary. I keep seeing like the Virgin Mary and Lesandro, so I don't know if they gave her like a picture, but this is visions of what I'm getting here that she would have. I also feel like she has seen him in her dreams, and he does come around. Um, this is a very, very dark thing. It's very, very painful, but I do get that there will be justice served against these murders, but only partial. And the reason that Junior is telling me this is that there's more that have not been caught and that won't be caught because the guys that were caught, they know not to speak. They have been threatened. They have people inside prison waiting for them. And if they say anything, to incriminate any other member of their gangs, they will be executed. They will be eliminated. That's how really serious this is. So a lot of them are not going to blame other members. They're not going to give names, and I feel like they have been trying to get them. The ones that they captured are the ones that were on footage, obviously, but there's a lot of other ones that have not been held accountable, including a female. Because I do get that there is a female here. And this is coming from spirit. This is coming from Junior, from his soul. There is a female that is involved in this. Actually, I want to say there was two females. There's two females here that spirit is talking about. And there is something about like I keep getting that there was something taken, and it wasn't money. This is something more serious that was taken. I don't know if he knew someone that was pregnant, or that there was rumors that she could have been pregnant. But this is what is coming through from his soul, from spirit, and this is what I'm kind of getting. There's something about pregnancy. I don't know if somebody was pregnant and they they blamed him for that. And again, it was a member of, or a family member of one of the gangs. But there was definitely something here. And again, I feel like he would have been, would have been in communication with one of these or several of these gang members, and there would have been threats prior to this whole thing about them wanting him to be held accountable, to come and speak to. They wanted him to go and meet them at some place, but he always refused. He knew, but he wouldn't tell his mom this. And again, it was to protect his mom and his family. And this is why he would go out instead of inviting anyone to come to his place. Well, because one, his mom was very protective of him, and two, she wouldn't have wanted any company, to come over and for him to, he didn't want her to know the truth of what was going on. So there were secrets here. There were definitely secrets here, but he wants her to release all of that. And he's talking about las nubes en el cielo. So I feel like his mom has seen something regarding, a formation in the clouds. but he's talking about nubes, and he keeps showing me the sky. So I feel like she's looked at the sky, or she's felt his presence, and he is very much okay. There was a lot of questions whether he was earthbound. The answer to that is that he was earthbound for quite some time. I want to say at least 2 months, 2 to 3 months, and then he did transition over into the spirit realm, and he is okay. And it is a process of healing, because when we leave this world in a very tragic manner, like murdered, the soul has to go through a process of an adjustment. It's not just like, you transition and then there's a life review and you're okay. No, the soul has to go through a transition, and it has to kind of heal. Even though, yes, what hurts most is the physical body, and on the other side, there's no anger. In heaven, there's only peace and love, but there is a process before that soul can go into that. They have to kind of understand the reason why this happened and the reason all of this occurred. Through his murder, I really do feel like the main lesson here, or the main thing that his soul taught to a lot of people, is that if you see someone being attacked, to step in, to stop it, to do something, to be brave, to have courage. I feel like there was a lot of people that saw this, even though it happened really quick, like in a matter of minutes. I do feel like there was some people that were looking, but that's a society that we live in today. It's so messed up. It's so messed up that people will sit there with their iPhone or their camera phone, and they will record footage. I've seen it time and time again, even in my own city with fights that people have. They will sit there and they will, instead of stepping in and stopping it, they rather would sit there and record the whole thing on video instead of helping someone. I've seen it with school kids on, YouTube. There's videos of girls getting into fights and guys, and the friends, all they do is just, are people that they are called so-called friends. They stand there and they record the whole thing, and they don't do anything to stop it. They don't do anything to stop the thing, what's going on. And that's the society that we live in, unfortunately. It's very brainwashed. It's very low level vibration. It's not consciously expanded. It's not evolved to a higher state of consciousness. What humanity here on earth is really focused on right now is more about themselves, and what, not the majority, but there's a lot of people still that are still focused on the things that don't matter, that are not significant, that don't really bring healing, they don't elevate our consciousness and awareness of what is going on. We have brothers and sisters that are killing each other because the people that killed Lesandro Jr., they were the same race as Junior. They were not, this wasn't white people or, Asians, these were his own race, Dominicanos, or, people of the same nationality. And it's like, why? That's the question. Why do people not, why are we killing one another? Is it really worth it? Like, that's the whole thing here. I believe in God. I believe in the devil. I believe that these two entities exist. And all behind this is the devil's work. This is all the devil's work. I'm sorry. And I'm not trying to be religious, because I'm not religious. I'm spiritual. But as a spiritual person, I do believe in both. That both powers exist. This is a spiritual warfare. Lesandro's murder was not just here in the physical. This was a spiritual battle between good and evil. Lesandro was a good person. Yes, he made some poor choices. He was a 15-year-old. He was a baby. He was someone that had his whole life ahead of him, to be taken in the hands of a lot of these guys that were much older than him, and that were in a very, very bad vibration. Because people think, like, that being in a gang is cool and all of this, but it's really, it really is a dark, evil thing, that leads to pain, suffering, and at the end, it's like, ooh, now these guys that have, carried this out and that were caught on footage, that will be prosecuted, it's like, they've lost their lives. They were young. They're young. And the rest of their life is never going to be the same, And it's sad. All of this is sad. But above all, Junior is okay, and he does want his mom to know that there is healing. I don't know if she's moved out of the Bronx or in that area, or she will ever contemplate that, but I feel like it would be in her best interest to get out of that, get out of New York, get out of that city, get out of that area, and just move to a different location for peace of mind. I know that it's kind of hard. So, like, again, I don't research these people as I'm doing these readings, like I said, so I don't know if she's moved. But what I feel like Junior is wanting her to do is to move, because I feel like there is danger still. This is still a case that is going to trial. And I get a lot of danger for the mom, for the, the people that are, the gang is still out at large, it's still there. And I just feel like there's danger for his mom and the family. So again, she may not be scared and she may be protected, but I just feel like there should be, she should move. It would be the best thing if she could. I don't know, again, if she is going to, but that's what I get from his souls, that he really, that's his wish, is that she would move away from this. So, this is the reading. Please be very respectful in the comments section below. I don't want to have to disable the comments. Like I said, there's a lot of great other readers out there from other channels. I'm not in competition with any one of them. I respect them as my brothers and sisters doing light worker work. And so this is not a competition. If I was doing this for views, I would have done this immediately over, the week afterwards, because I was already doing psychic readings. And I remember getting requests, but I didn't, out of respect to his family. And reason that I am going to be releasing this on Christmas Day is because I feel like it is a gift, especially for the messages for his mom, and I feel like Christmas was a very special time for her as well. So hopefully, she'll, or someone in the family will see this and she'll get those messages from his soul. But he's definitely okay. And, like I said, please be respectful. Like I said, I'm not in a competition with any of my brothers and sisters that are tarot readers, or they are psychic mediums like me, or they are healers, and they do readings on celebrity psychics. Everybody's going to get something different, because our gifts are all, they work differently in many ways, but we're all the same. We're all connected to one source. So please keep it respectful, especially since it is Christmas today. And wishing a Feliz Navidad, happy Merry Christmas, and to each and every one of you out there. So enjoy your families. That's the message that I get, is enjoy the time that you have here on earth. Love one another. And if you see someone that's in need and you are watching something being, done that's an injustice, step in, be brave, have courage. That was the main lesson behind Junior's passing. It was to teach the world to be brave and courageous. This young boy was brave, even though he was holding on and he was scared. Yes, he was scared. He was still brave in every sense. To be attacked by so many men and then, run to the hospital. I mean, he was brave. He was really brave, and my heart goes out to his family, and again to people in the Bronx, people in New York that would know, knew of this soul of this young man, and witnessed it. Again, this is a very, very hard reading for me to do, and I'm trying to hold it all together because it's very hard. So biggest blessings in love and light, and thank you so much for tuning in.